Hey everyone, my name is David Dunbar, or the theme park evangelist. I decided to relocate down here to the family room while the upstairs bedroom, not my bedroom, but the other one, is currently being occupied. So you can clearly see it in the title. I have officially hit 300 subscribers. That's a huge deal to me. I got a little too excited when I first checked my YouTube channel and I saw that I had hit 300 subscribers. And for those of you who do not know me, which I would hope everybody does know me by now because everybody's a subscriber, but just in case, I I always get new subscribers all the time. So what am I saying? Anyway, so any time I hit a huge mark like 100, 200, 300, 400, so on and so forth, you get the picture. I like to do a live stream. It's never planned, it's very spontaneous, but it's usually my chance to talk about my YouTube channel's growth for about half an hour or so. And it's just right here in my own house for half an hour, which is, well, I already said that. I made that quite clear. But anyway, so this is usually my chance to just talk to you guys, and I don't have to go anywhere. It's just, kind of nice to just reflect and, be real with everybody. Obviously, there are, this will come from any YouTuber out there. Whenever I YouTube out in public, I usually will have to keep my YouTube videos directed only to what I title my video on. I might get a little personal, but for the most part, I am mainly there for one purpose, and that is to talk about the video. However, though, if I'm doing a live stream, I might ramble on about certain things, but for the most part, I am mainly going to be talking about that particular title. So, in this sense, I would like to mainly talk about my live streams title, which is the fact that I just celebrated 300 subscribers. I'm celebrating reaching 300 subscribers, which is incredible. And thank you so much for whoever just liked my live stream. That always means a lot to me. I cannot tell who is watching my video and who is not watching my video, just so you know. And I know that my former friend TJ still watches my YouTube channel from time to time, and I really do appreciate the fact that he does watch my YouTube channel. All right, so my YouTube channel started back in 2016. Back in December of 2016, I was, for those of you who do not know, sorry, I'm just doing a live stream. I can go upstairs if you want.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, why not? So you'll have to bear with me. I'm gonna carry this upstairs with me. And I'm just in City Walk, and I'm like, well, I always wanted to be like the Tim Tracker and do YouTube videos and whatnot. And I was like, well, I might as well. So I and there we go, knocking over stuff again. I am so sorry. Ugh. Anyway, so yeah, I'm at City Walk, and I was with TJ, and I was like, "You want to start YouTubing?" And he was like, "Sure, why not?" So I was like, "Okay, let's do it." So I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I always like to start with this story just because it's the most meaningful story to me. And I just basically went from there. It was really neat, and I was not very good back then. I really wasn't. And one of my hey, my lovely just dropped in for a few. Happy 300 subscribers. Hey, JJ. My that was from my aunt. That was very, very nice of her. I'll have to heart that later. So very much so appreciated. So I guess it's my aunt that's currently watching right now. So hi, Aunt Gail. Thank you for commenting, and I appreciate you watching. So anyway, as far as the following year, I was planning out like the very first staycation I ever want to take, and that was with TJ, of course. And we made this decision. Oh, thank you for the heart. And I will definitely tell my brother you said hi. So we got together with my dad, and he promised us some tickets. And we booked this motel off of a really, really busy highway called 192, right? So when we were over there, we made sure it had like a continental breakfast, like a complimentary continental breakfast. And it was a really nice room. We each had our own bed. Obviously, I would hope so anyway. And we, if I remember correctly, we went to the Magic Kingdom on the very first night. And he and I were the only ones that were crazy enough to go on Splash Mountain back when it was still an attraction. And he and I sat in the very back row, and every time the boat was about to go down a hill, it was like boom, and because it was slammed down so hard because of all the weight from the back seat. And I mean, I was a lot bigger back then than I am now. I mean, I know it's hard to tell, but yeah, I'm about 284 right now. I just checked my weight this morning on the scale. And I'm just like, oh my word, what if the boat eventually just just flips over backwards? That would have been hilarious. And I'm trying to remember if I think we were not quite Disney cast members yet, but I do remember my dad got us into a Disney cast member store, and we locked around there for like one of the days we were there. And TJ had this plan to go to a baseball game, and I don't remember if that ever happened or not, but that was like one of the bigger deals for my YouTube channel, because that was like the very first time I went on the Frozen ride, and that was the very first time I ever stayed near Disney overnight for a couple of days. 2017 also was when welcome to my new viewer. I'm just currently talking about celebrating reaching 300 subscribers right now. So anyway, 2017 was also when I first was vlogging the whole Jimmy Fallon ride opening at Universal Orlando. And of course, the attraction opened, I believe, between early mid-April of 2017, and I got a chance to do all the how should I put this, like sneak previews, or it's hard to explain the right words. Like the attraction soft opened back in March, and it eventually grand opened back in early April of 2017. And I actually got permission to skip college that day for my professor. And TJ and I drove all the way out there, and we got to go and see that. I missed seeing Dwayne Johnson by about 10 minutes. I literally was about halfway to Islands of Adventure, and I looked at this couple, and I was like, I feel like I should go back. But nah, I'm just going to keep going. They got to meet Dwayne Johnson and Jimmy Fallon. I'm still like, I cannot believe I missed that opportunity. I'm just... Anyway, it's here or there. It's been over 6 years now. So, and also back in 2017 was when I first filmed Volcano Bay. I also was able to attend another grand opening that was for that. And that was one of my most viral vlogs to date. If I remember correctly, 2017 or 2018 was when I first saw Mannheim Steamroller live in concert, also at Universal. And 2017 was also when I saw Billy Joel live for the very first time, and the Beach Boys. So it was all in one weekend, believe it or not. Don't quote me on this, but I believe I saw Billy Joel on a Friday night, and then I saw the Beach Boys the following night. And they kept saying, "Oh, we got John Stamos, we got John Stamos." So yeah, that was amusing. That was back in February. So yeah, I'm jumping a little out of order, but that's okay. And 2018, if I'm not mistaken, so not 2017, but 2018 is when I saw Foreigner, but it might have been 2017. I don't remember now because I saw a lot of concerts between 2017 and 2018. But I remember seeing Foreigner also at Universal between one of those 2 years. And I also had that on YouTube as well. And that when I went with my when I went to see Foreigner, sorry, let me start over. I took my brother with me, and when the time did finally come for us to go see the concert, I said to my brother, "Well, why don't you go ahead and go do something? I'll remain here in this area, and I'll hold a spot for us so." You can go and have fun, and then when you can just join me when you come back and just find out where I'm at. Excuse me, I got a really good spot actually. Yes, did it suck to stand in one spot for an hour? Yes, of course. 2018, I do remember, was the very first time that I went and filmed the brand new Fast and the Furious Supercharged ride over at Universal as well. And the very first time I went and rode that, the ride was still brand new at the time. And I'm getting out of the gift shop, right? And this guy, he's in front of me. And he goes up to one of the employees, a ride operator at that. And he just cusses him out. And I'm like, why? And he said that was the stupidest ride in the world he has ever, well, something like that. He said, like, the stupidest ride he's ever ridden, ever. And I'm like, and that's the employee's fault because, it's the Imagineers' fault or whatever you call those people at Universal. It's like, how was that the Imagineers? How was that the ride operator's fault? I'm sorry. I was a little hurt about that. So, yeah, more or less after that incident, I was like, well, that was interesting. And I never actually attended Halloween Horror Nights ever between 2017 and 2018, which were the 2 years that I was fully living in Central Florida as a YouTuber. But I will tell you right now, I did film the decorations during the daytime. And 2018 was the very first time I attended Rock the Universe as a YouTuber as well. And if I remember correctly, that was the last year that they had it in September, but don't quote me on that. Because I feel like I saw Halloween Horror Nights decorations. But, we're talking 6 years worth of YouTubing that I have to go back and think about. Of course, this has nothing to do with Universal. I have been vlogging at Legoland quite a bit over the past 6 years as well. Not as much over the past 4 years, but I did do it quite a bit when I was living in Florida. Yeah, I admit that I have been YouTubing more here in Kentucky because I've been living here in Kentucky since 2019, at least June 2019. But that doesn't mean I don't YouTube in Legoland, and that doesn't mean that I don't go back to Florida and go YouTube at Disney, Universal, Legoland. So Legoland, of course, I did some really interesting YouTube videos. I had to wait until 2018. I had to wait at least a week or two after the Lego Movie World officially opened before I was able to go, okay, finally I can come in here with my phone and YouTube all the Lego Movie World. Which, bummed me out because of the fact that I really wanted to do it on the employee preview night, but they were like, pictures only, no video footage, and you can't post any of the pictures until we're officially open. I was like, really? And I ended up waiting 2 hours just to get on the Masters of Flight ride the very first time, which was on their employee preview night. And something else that really misled me was I thought they would have like Coca-Cola Freestyle machines over there. Mm-mm. And I was hoping they were going to at least have free food for an employee preview night. Not even that. And their Unikitty Disco Drop wasn't even working properly during the employee preview night. I had to wait at least a few years before I was even able to fit on that. The whole time I was living in Florida, I was too big. It wasn't until I think 2022 that I was actually able to fit on it. So that was only last year. And that was my very first time on it. And it's a cool ride. It's cute. It's one of those rides that goes up and down, like a drop tower, that I actually don't mind. That's completely outside. It's not like Tower of Terror where you're in an enclosed building. So, and yes, I actually have filmed Tower of Terror on ride POV, believe it or not. Something I do enjoy doing quite a bit at the theme parks is I enjoy doing on-ride POVs on rides that I know for a fact are completely legal, like Kilimanjaro Safari, Expedition Everest. Don't mind me, that's just the laundry. Also, Dinosaur, I feel like would be allowed, and so on and so forth. Universal, you're technically not allowed to film on their rides. Legoland is also not allowed. Kings Island has a lot of the same policies that that Legoland does, so they don't also allow it. So yeah, that kind of fun stuff. I've also done vlogs over at SeaWorld as well as Busch Gardens. My very first SeaWorld vlog technically was back in 2018 as well. That was back in December. A former friend of mine got my brother and I into SeaWorld back on Wednesday, December 17th, 2018. My brother and I spent the entire day out there. I had purchased their fast passes, which we never even needed to use them because it ended up being super dead that day anyway, so it ended up being a waste of time. And then I came back to SeaWorld last year in February. So that was when I first filmed my very first full park tour of the and put it on YouTube. And I decided to call the vlog I Finally Rode Icebreaker because I personally believe that was the main focal point of the vlog, but ironically, you have to wait till the second half of the vlog to get to that. My very first Busch Gardens vlog was back in February of 2020. This was before COVID hit Florida, so the whole main point of that vlog was to discuss the whole Iron Gwazi construction, which honestly, I don't think I could handle riding it because it looks absolutely terrifying. And I accidentally messed up. So when I was choosing my custom thumbnail for it at the time, I accidentally chose a Midway Mayhem custom thumbnail, and they called me out for copyright. So I was forced to take down the custom thumbnail and change it up for something different. One of my more favorite Lego vlogs that I've ever done was also back in February 2020. And that was one of the last times that TJ originally worked for Legoland. So he had enough points built up as an employee, basically reward points. So he was like, hey, David, you remember how we always talked about staying at one of the Legoland hotels? And I'm like, yeah, of course. And this was before the Pirate Cove Hotel opened up next to the Legoland Hotel, which opened like years ago. And then he was like, well, I have enough points saved up so we can stay at one of the hotels. And I'm like, sweet. Well, which one? He was like, any of them. I'm like, let's stay at Beach Retreat. I've always wanted to stay there. And he was like, okay. So he got us a free room, no strings attached. It was excellent. So I vlogged the entire experience, both arriving there the night that we checked in, and of course, the breakfast the next morning, which was completely complimentary. And then, of course, checking out the next morning. And then we went to Universal that next day, which was the day that we were checking out, and spent the entire day out there. And that was ironically the very first day I ever rode on Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. So I got to vlog that as well, and I decided to title that one, I finally rode Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventures. I would say one of my favorite Universal vlogs to date, of course, is one of my more recent ones. I finally rode Velocicoaster. So Velocicoaster construction started back in, I don't remember now, 2017, 2018, somewhere around there, while I was still living in Florida. And I watched the construction on that roller coaster for years. And to finally go back last February and go ride something I got to watch construction on for years was super exciting to me. And I really enjoyed that a lot. I'm a huge Jurassic Park and Jurassic World fan. My girlfriend's not the only one, so I will tell you right now, I was geeking out super hard to finally go and ride it. So as far as like what were some of my favorite Disney vlogs that I've ever done? So as far as Disney goes, I would say my all-time favorite one that I have ever done was when I first vlogged Star Wars Galaxy's Edge back in March of 2021. That was actually on March 1st to be specific, and that was on a Wednesday, if I remember correctly. And that was the very first day I ever rode on Rise of the Resistance, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, and I got to ride Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway for the very first time as well. But it wasn't until last September that I got to finally vlog an Iron Ride POV of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Yes, I'm aware that I did title it on with lights on because, yes, the lights did come on at the very end, and someone did get a little upset with me about that. And yes, I could have titled that a little better. That was on me. 2020 was also when I first vlogged Skyliner. I wouldn't say it was one of my favorites, but I would say it was, super exciting to finally get on something I'd been watching the construction on for years. And also March 1st, 2021 was I finally went back to 50's Springtime Cafe for the first time in years. So that was also super exciting to me. Obviously, there wasn't much I could do that day because of the fact that I was eating with my brother and his friends. However, though, I was able to pull off filming at Manny's Original Chop House. I've been eating there with my family for years upon years. So I finally decided, well, what the heck? I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what it looks like on YouTube. So I pulled my phone out and I filmed the entire experience from the moment you get your bread all the way to the very end when TJ was celebrating his birthday and they brought out his dessert. So you got an added bonus. Like, how cool is that? And then just to make things cooler, the following year, I went back, and this time we went on a Wednesday when they give you, when you can buy one, get one free fajitas. So I decided, well, I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm going to go back again, and I'm going to show you guys a completely different experience. And another one of my favorites, speaking of the whole food thing back in Florida, back in high school, I got introduced to a place called Frostbite Ice Cream and More in Frostproof, Florida, sorry. So I went there with TJ and Kay one day, and I decided to film the entire experience. And turns out they had already been, but I was under the impression they had. And the very first 15 minutes of the vlogger is really, really good. I would skip the last 15 minutes just because it's a boring drive. But the first 15 minutes are excellent. It's very funny. If you like my humor, which is really dumb and stupid, then you'll really, really enjoy the video or the vlog, whatever you want to call it. Let's see here. Also, as far as Disney goes, for a few years, I used to go around what they call the Magic Kingdom loop. So it's in order, the Polynesian, then it goes to the Grand Floridian, then it goes to the Magic Kingdom, which of course is not a resort, and then it goes to the Contemporary, and then back to the Transportation Ticket Center. So we would, because I was a Disney cast member at the time, we would park over at the Transportation Ticket Center, or sometimes what we would also do was we would park over at Disney Springs, and we would take a bus over to one of the Disney resorts and take another bus over from there to one of those, or to the Transportation Ticket Center. Then we would hop on the resort monorail and go all the way around. So during Christmas time, the Polynesian resort gets decorated with like a tropical kind of feel. The Grand Floridian gets a really nice, like Victorian kind of style Christmas. They got a huge Christmas tree, the biggest one in Disney, in the Disney resorts. And then they have a life-size gingerbread man house. And it's absolutely 100% real. And you can smell it. So that's another reason why I like to go over there. And they have this really good pianist that's playing on the grand piano almost all the time. So it's another reason why I like to go over there. And then finally, I end up going over the Grand Floridian, which it's okay during Christmas time, but you got to add it on because they got some Christmas decorations. And then I finally head back to the Transportation Ticket Center. Also, one of my favorite things to do during Christmas time down in Disney World, over at Disney Springs, they have the Christmas tree trail that I have only vlogged maybe once or twice, but still, I would definitely do it again in a heartbeat. So it's all the different Disney movies decorated as a Christmas tree. So basically, what if a Disney movie was a Christmas tree? Like, what if Star Wars were a Christmas tree? What if the Little Mermaid were or a Christmas movie? Or a Christmas tree, sorry. What if the Lady and the Tramp were a Christmas movie, and so on and so forth? You get the picture. So I always love to vlog that every single year. And obviously I haven't been down to Florida for Christmas in quite some time, but that is still one of my absolute favorite things to vlog. Getting more into the past 4 years as well, I started vlogging different stuff around Kentucky, so I started exploring different things that are to do around here. I started exploring different stuff to do around Ohio. And I've actually found some really neat things to vlog around here for an area that supposedly has nothing to do. I've actually found quite a bit of stuff to vlog, which is great. And I would say one of my more recent favorite things that I've gotten into within the past year. So a couple of years ago, when I was still friends with TJ, we had came up with this idea of going all the way to Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg on a trip, and ended up happening after I became Katie's boyfriend, basically, or whatever you want to say. So we came up with this idea last July that me, Katie, and her roommates at the time, which one of them is still her roommate, we're going to head all the way down to Pigeon Forge. So we booked a motel called the Americana, which is absolute crap. So please keep that in mind when you go. And we drove all the way down there. We stopped at Buc-ee's down in Richmond, Kentucky. And we kept going down. We checked into our motel, and during our visit, we went and saw the Titanic Museum for the very first time. We went to WonderWorks down there. We went to Dollywood for the very first time. And we went to Ripley's Aquarium for the very first time. And I got to go see the chairlift that takes you up into the mountains out there. So that was by far one of my most favorite vlogs or whatever that I had ever done within the past couple of years. And I was like, wow, that was really neat. Um, it's now one of my more favorite places to go to whenever I go down to Tennessee. And I would say, like, honestly, that would be like one of my higher recommendations if I were, traveling down to, or if I were traveling beside my new three favorite places to travel to now are Central Florida, Eastern North Carolina, and of course, Tennessee. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love going to Canada, but as far as a YouTuber goes, those are the three that I love to go to personally. As far as a non-YouTuber, Canada is still number one because Canada, I really just go to visit family and not necessarily to YouTube. So hopefully that makes sense. And Eastern North Carolina, I was surprised how much I was able to YouTube. Now, obviously, I won't be YouTubing the same places every single time because that will just make it boring. And Katie just got here. So this is how I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream. So, there's always something new I want to add onto my YouTube channel every single time. Like every single year, I'm always thinking, like, what can I, do to make my YouTube channel more exciting? Like this year, I'm going down to Florida and I'm like, well, the main thing I really want to focus on this July is going to see the new Tron roller coaster. And of course, I really believe that taking Katie with me to introduce her to where I grew up will really make my YouTube channel that much more exciting because I will have somebody that I'm, marrying in the next couple of years with me, as that will make my YouTube channel that much more exciting, if that makes any sense. Also, introducing Eastern North Carolina to my YouTube channel for the very first time this year really made a difference in my YouTube channel. I really believe so. Something I did new this Sunday that I've never done before. I showed everybody a new grocery store, and that really seemed to attract a lot of attention. And something I want to do new next year that I've never done before, I want to show everybody a festival that Katie has been attending for quite some time called the Daffodil Festival. It's in Eastern North Carolina as well. And at some point, I want to introduce everybody to the Chinese Lantern Festival, which is also in Eastern North Carolina. So this is another nice thing about introducing somebody that I love to my YouTube channel, or having a girlfriend, is obviously, besides the whole, personal level stuff for the YouTube channel thing, she can introduce stuff that she loves to my YouTube channel. And even though I may not know anything about it, or even though I may not have, ever considered doing anything like that in the past, or even though I may not have been brought up like that in the past, I'm always willing to try something new. And as far as my YouTube channel goes, my YouTube channel can always use something new. And I think that's another reason why I've really loved seeing my YouTube channel's growth, is it was always all about theme parks. But at the end of the day, of course, my YouTube channel is always all about theme parks. But that doesn't mean that I'm not interested in introducing something new. Like, what can I bring new to my YouTube channel this year? And that's something that I'm constantly asking myself all the time. I may not always talk about it on YouTube, but keep in mind, I'm always talking about it. I would like to end with not just my end slogan, but I also would like to end with, what is the purpose of my YouTube channel? The purpose of my YouTube channel is to educate everyone about Jesus Christ, to get everybody to make the decision, where do you want to spend the rest of eternity? Without making everybody feel pressured in the process. So quite often I would like to preach about my faith without sounding intimidating in the process. And also, with that being said, the best part, also the mission statement of my YouTube channel, or purpose of my YouTube channel, is to show everybody what's new at theme parks, construction, new rides, new lands, or what's going on at theme parks that you already know about, such as Disney, Kings Island, or introducing people to new theme parks that I've never seen before. And last but not least, what everybody's heard, the purpose of my YouTube channel is to also introduce people to something new that they've never seen before, and to get them to go and check it out for themselves. But don't forget, I'm always the theme park evangelist, and I call myself the theme park evangelist because I love theme parks, but I love talking about my faith. And that's the reason why I came up with that name on my own. So always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great day. Peace out. Thank you so much, everybody, for helping me reach 300 subscribers. Let us keep going and hit 400 subscribers. Tell your friends, tell your family. Please promote me. I'm a non-for-profit YouTuber. I don't do any of this for money, and that's why I don't have any like t-shirts or anything to advertise my YouTube channel. I don't do any of this for money. I will see you guys in the next vlog.